All right. Can you hear me now? Try this. Let me know.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Oh, that might be a good sign. I heard myself on a replay. Let me know if it's coming through okay. Let's sit here for a sec. Oh, you got it? Okay, that's a good sign. That's a good effing sign. We hear. Bro, what the fuck, man? I have no idea what happened. I literally do the same shit every time I sit down and set up. I have no idea what happened. And I have no idea what I did to fix it. All I did was leave the studio because I use StreamYard. I know there's a few different like streaming softwares out there. Um, I use StreamYard, and all I did was like I was messing around with all the other audio settings, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna leave the studio and see what happens. I didn't know if it was gonna end the stream, but I was like, screw it, they can't hear me anyway. So if it does, I'll just start a new one. And so I left the studio, came back, and then all of a sudden you can hear me again. What the fuck, man? Like I did nothing else differently. I have no idea. But the hell is up, guys? Jesus, now we can get going. Now we can actually talk to each other. What's up, man? I appreciate you guys for sticking with me. I appreciate everyone over there on Twitter. I don't know how. Sorry, I should not have gotten ice. I do not know how to message the people. I don't know if my comments when I send them on StreamYard go out to the Twitterverse as well. So if you were over there on Twitter and just sitting in silence for like I don't even know how long, like 15 minutes, I apologize. But we are here now, and while I was talking to myself, I was saying that we have a big night ahead of us, a big day ahead of us. We have Worlds Collide ahead of us. And to be honest with you guys, I am not the most abreast when it comes to the talent, but I am super excited. That was what I was looking to look up before all that audio shit happened. Because I think it's really cool that they're airing it on or streaming it on YouTube as well. Hopefully they don't have any audio issues like I did. But it is da-da-da. Yes, I know it's today. What time is it? Oh, come on. But I'm oh, it's at 3 p.m. Okay, thank you. Jesus. It's at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I think that'll be fun. I wish it was a little bit earlier though, to be honest with you. I just feel like if you're gonna have like an afternoon show, especially with Money in the Bank, maybe do it like at noon. That'd be kind of cool. But it's all good. I am most likely gonna have it on in the background. I have to do some stuff before the live stream tonight, which hopefully I definitely will be starting earlier just to make sure I get all the audio kinks worked out. Because apparently gotta be prepared for that shit. So yeah, that'll be an interesting night to say the least. I will try to get everything set up in advance. So like I said, we don't cut into the PLE time, which is also what I was saying when I was talking to myself over on KickAsh podcast. I will be doing a live watch along of Money in the Bank tonight. So if you would like to pop on over there and hopefully listen along with everyone and throw your comments and thoughts into our little chat pool, then feel free. If not, totally understand. I never used to be a fan of watch alongs on the other side. To me, it was just I don't know. I just never really thought about it too much, to be honest with you. I just felt like it could be kind of interrupting, but I really dig it. It's really fun, and yeah, it kind of keeps the time going too, and kind of make a dull card a little bit more fun. Just kind of interacting with people. So yeah, if you'd like to, feel free. If not, no pressure. I'll see you on the next one. But with that being said, we have to go over the Money in the Bank card because you guys haven't had what 50 to 100 preview shows already on it. But we did have SmackDown last night. Nothing too major from SmackDown. Let me know too, guys. It was one of those things I was saying for 10 minutes there when I was speaking into the void. Let me know if you guys think The Rock will be coming back tonight. That is heavy on the speculation list. I am hoping he will not. You guys know my feelings about The Rock at this point. I just think he's causing more harm than good. Long story short, and I really just don't see a need for him at this point. Just keep it all on Cena, and then if you want to kind of parlay Rock and Cody feuding off of Cena leaving, then you can do that. But wait to that point, wait until we get to that point. That focus is walling. But once we finish out this year with Cena, I think maybe The Rock can come back. Obviously that'll kind of play out perfectly for WrestleMania time frame as well. But I don't know, man. I'm just not feeling The Rock. I'm not digging it. Yeah, I guess it's cool to like see him, to hear that music for a split second. But I was actually talking about it probably months ago at this point. But it's one of those things, and it's gonna sound really odd, but it's one of those things, man, where it's like Stone Cold still looks like Stone Cold. Like, yeah, he's a little bit older, but he still looks like Steve Austin, man. He still looks like that dude that we remember from the Attitude Era, right? From the good old days, as some would say. But he still looks like Stone Cold, right? Like Triple H, yeah, he shaved his head, but he's still like the face still looks like Triple H, dude. Like that dude has such a distinguishable face. And yes, he has like a beard. He didn't have a beard prior, but like when you look at the core of his face, like that's Triple H. Same thing with Undertaker. Same thing with a lot of like the older guys. You know what I mean? The guys that they tried out for like the those retro Raws and the reunion Raws and stuff like that. As bad as that sounds, I didn't mean for it to come off that way. But even Rob Van Dam on the channel here looks still the same. You know what I mean? So with that being said, when you see The Rock, man, like the dude looks completely different than The Rock that I remember. You know what I mean? And I know it's probably kind of odd even bringing it up now, but I was watching some older shows within the past couple nights, and just last night I was watching an old Triple H and Rock match, and it looks completely different, dude. Like a completely different guy than as he does now. And I totally get it, right? Like people grow, people change. You should like grow. I was saying you should morph into your next form, or whatever, you know what I mean? But like he's just I think that for whatever reason, like that kind of like distorts your connection. Maybe it's just me and I'm thinking too much into it. But it's just like, I don't know, man. Like something just has never been the same with The Rock. And I was one of those salty fans, man. I took it personally that he left and he went to Hollywood and he pretty much disowned wrestling, man. I took what is that? Like I've said before, that Michael Jordan meme. I took that and I took that personally or something like that. I did because I'm not gonna say I was the biggest Rock fan, but he of course like a Rock fan. Like to me, Stone Cold was number one. And I was even a big Triple H fan too. I really enjoyed Triple H. Um, but it was probably, and I really thought The Undertaker was dope. But between like Rock and Stone Cold was the guy for me. So I don't know, man. It's just always been one of those things with me and The Rock. But with Cena being there, with Logan Paul being there, with them being in Los Angeles, I'm hoping and scared that The Rock, not even as more so scared for The Rock making a return or an appearance, more so scared of Travis Scott making a appearance or return. So that's what kind of concerns me. Whether we get, I mean, I can't imagine The Rock setting up Travis Scott, right? So if it's a matter of, there's a down moment in the match, the referee gets knocked down in the tag team match, of course, and then kind of like a replay of WrestleMania, we hear Travis Scott's music, he comes out, he takes forever in the day to get to the ring. And then by the time he's halfway down, The Rock comes out. He stares, at the fans at the top of the stage. He does his goops, bumps things with his arms, and as CM Punk relayed just perfectly. And he passes Travis Scott, who is still making his way to the ring. Rock goes in there, does whatever he's gonna do with Cena. They move on, and then Travis Scott finally makes it to the stairs. So something like that is what I'm. And no, yes and no. But something in that regard is what I'm kind of scared of. Just Travis Scott in general being involved. And again, man, I'm not a hater. Do I enjoy his music? Not really. I mean, that Goosebumps song was kind of catchy, right? But I just have a weird vibe when it comes to Travis Scott, man. I just not that I trust these people, but like I feel like I can't trust the dude. You know, like I just get like a like I don't know, man. Like I don't know about that dude. You know, and I think that they can really take advantage of that character wise and really elevate that, kind of like what they did with Logan Paul. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people have mixed emotions and mixed feelings on Logan Paul, and they have capitalized on that. They have really. I'm happy they didn't try to force him being a good guy down our throats, right? I feel in the past, maybe with a different era and a different regime, they would have tried to force him being a good guy, and obviously it just wouldn't work. So I'm happy they did that, and I'm happy that they're actually using him to help Cena, as crazy as that sounds, in regard to getting some more hate, you know, and getting that that reaction that Cena has been getting, but man, people just want to love him, and it's so crazy, dude. Like, I wish I wish we had this opportunity with Cena maybe like 2 years ago, even, you know, like obviously 5, 10 years would be even better, but maybe not 10 years, but you know what I mean. At least 5 plus. But even if it was just 2 years ago, like time wise, I just feel like the whole Cena term would have been so much more fruitful, you know, and we just would have been able to get so much more out of it. So I and again, like I'm not gonna sit here and hate on it. I've already talked about it enough in that regard. And I am just thankful that we did get it. You know, we at least got to see what it looks like. I still don't think it would have or has ended up being what it would have been if again we were in the past and we had more time. And to be fair, like I get we only do have a year. So you wanna give ample time for the heel run and the ample time for the good guy run. And I think it is getting to Cena too. You know, I feel like you do see that little sliver of emotion from him when the fans cheer for him and stuff like that. So I get and I'm kind of like I'm like 50-50. Like I'm sure he like jumped at the bit to play this and to do this and to dive into this. Not saying anyone even regrets it, but I'm sure like on the flip side for him too, he's got to be thinking, man, like these are my last days going to this city and this city and this city and I can't even like fully embrace the people, you know what I mean? And maybe he's good with not doing it, you know, maybe it's just me projecting, but even in Tampa, you know, even in Tampa, he did his thing. And when he went to the back, it's not like he was like, "Oh, Tampa, I love you. Thank you for coming out." Like, nah, like he stuck to it, you know. Um, so yeah, so props to him for at least doing it and sticking to it. In regards to the tag team match itself, because it's a great segue. The match, and I think it's gonna be very interesting too to see what ends up main eventing the card itself. Traditionally, it's easy to bookend with possibly the women's and then the men's or vice versa, depending on the star power. And shit, if we were doing that with this year's Money in the Bank, I would throw the women in the main event. You know what I mean? Just with how stacked the women are compared to the men. I just think that I think the women's Money in the Bank is just going to be kick ass, man. Like, I think that shit is really going to deliver. I feel like they have such a talented just mixture of different move sets and just different styles. And obviously, we'll be getting to that. But so that's the obvious, right? Book ending with the Money in the Bank matches. But you can also make a case that if something big is going to happen, they're going to want to close with that tag team match with the champions involved. And to be fair, even though the championships aren't being defended, the heavyweight championships, right? It is still your main titles. So you can make a case for wanting to keep that in the main event. It's just that main event or that Money in the Bank match is just so taxing and just so draining emotionally as a fan. You're not gonna have any buffer in between that unless, besides like the video packages and things like that. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not even saying like it would be a downer or a killer or anything like that for the fans, but it'd be very interesting. And I think that will tell us too what could potentially happen at the end of the tag team match. So with that being said, I'm going to get to your chats here. Because I feel like I've been talking for a minute there. And I didn't officially get to say hey to you guys. What up, Maddie? What up, sir? I actually thought about you, Manny MJ, the other day. Hope you're doing good, man. We're doing well. Hope you're doing well. That's proper English. The boss, what up? What up, boss? What up, Zach? Is that a new little thumbnail there, Zach? What up, man? What up? What up? Inside, my friend. Yes, sir, I do. I remember that. It was actually, I think, like 12, 13 minutes. Just try to see. Because sometimes, like, I want to get started, you know, because I try not to be that streamer that sits there and just kind of like, even though I do bullshit, that kind of like takes forever to get to the point. So I've been trying to do better with that at the start of my shows and to not get so sidetracked and distracted. And then I find myself when I go through y'all's chats because I get so like engulfed with like talking to you guys that I fail to get to the point sometimes. So I've been trying to stay better focused. So I haven't been looking at the chats until I plan to like go through them. So note to self, I need to do that in the beginning to at least make sure you guys can hear me. So yeah. And I do need I technically don't need a new PC. I have a Mac, right? So I technically don't need a new PC, but to do the shit that I want to be doing, like the streaming and then potential gaming and stuff like that, I do need one in that regard. And for storage because it just does not have ample storage. So yes and no, right? So it's not like, oh, my shit's dying or anything like that. It's more of a user error for certain things, but it's on my list for sure. But right now, I have saved up for and put money aside for the PS5 that I will be needing to get. And like I've said before, I was going to get it this year when Grand Theft Auto 6 came out, and just with everything else, it is being delayed. So I'm going to try not to get frustrated with that again because it's just one of those things, man, where it's like I get frustrated when I first think about it, and it's just like whatever, like I don't even care. But I do care, you know. It's like when you're in that argument, it's like whatever, I don't even care. When you do really care, you're just frustrated. So you want to say you don't care, but you do care. I do care, man. I want the fucking game to come out, man. It's fucking almost half my life. I've been waiting for this Grand Theft Auto 6 to come out and just dragging ass. At this point, I'll just wait for my retirement to play it, you know. But yeah, so see when I get into your comments. This is what I start talking about. Oh man, you guys are great. I appreciate you guys. So I have a giant coffee. Yeah, man. Right now it's just a grande size, but I may swing by before the stream tonight and pick up another one. But I don't think the Money in the Bank card is gonna be that long, to be fair, because it's what 4 matches. So I don't think they added one last night. I'm obviously have the card pulled up. I'm gonna scroll down here in a second, but I feel like it's gonna be a breeze because you imagine what the Money in the Bank matches individually themselves would be about 30, anywhere from 30, 45 minutes. Um, you know, including with withholding uh, the entrances and things like that. Um, I'm trying to remember. Like, I don't think we've had one go like 50 plus minutes or anything like that. So I think like a sweet spot for those are normally 30 to 45 minutes. Cause shit, there's only so much you can do in those type of matches anyway, right? Like you can only be so risk taking for a certain amount of time. So I don't think it's gonna be a long card at all. That and then we just have the two matches, right? Becky and Lyra, and then obviously the tag match. So could be a breeze. Could be a breeze. And I'm so happy I got tonight off, guys. Oh, I was a responsible adult and thought ahead and requested this day off, but it was like right around that 30-day mark in my part-time job. I have a full-time and a part-time, and my part-time is way more, I don't want to say strict, but it's more difficult sometimes to get a day off if it's within like a certain time frame. And obviously 2 weeks, you know, like my full-time job, they're like, shit, if no one's on the calendar, go for it, if it's within the same week, you know. If it's my part-time, it's a little bit different because completely two different industries. So but I'm so happy I got it off because I'll be able to chill with you guys. So that was the point of that. But okay, Mackenzie. What up, Mackenzie? You said I like the Rock final boss. I want that character back. All right, dude. Okay. Yo, Dax H. Uh, your I keep wanting to say avatar. Your thumbnail, bro, cracks me up. Thoughts on the White Six? It's funny you mentioned that because I was, again, like I've said before, watching the little recap again this morning, and I'm like, I'm teetering on the line with them. Like, and I don't even know if that's proper. Like, I like them. I don't dislike them. It's funny. I know a lot of people out there just cannot stand them, and I can understand that, right? But I don't dislike them that strongly. I just want them to have a direction and a purpose, and now it seems like we're getting that with the tag team division, so that's fine. And that's, I think that's actually a win-win. It gives them direction, it gives them purpose, it gives Bo and others, but it gives Bo substance for his promos and what he's saying, right? Not to just be talking word salad and spitting wordplay, you know what I mean? But to actually say all that mumbo jumbo, but then have it lead to them wanting to challenge for the title and then wanting to run the tag division and dominate and things like that. And I think SmackDown is the perfect realm for them to do that. And it keeps them away from the main event scene. Now, it was a little bit different with Bray, right? Because Bray was a, no disrespect, but a more believable main event challenger. No disrespect to Bo, he just hasn't been able to get to that point yet, just because he hasn't been given the opportunity, right? So with Bray, it was easier to excuse and to make reasoning as to why you can put him in a Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins, even though it ended up the booking was just a travesty, right? You can have him wrestle main event talent, right? And be the champion. So I think with that, with Bray, that was one of the issues that you would run into, right? It's like he is such a force that you want to have him on the show, but it's like, damn, like he has to wrestle, right? So where do you put him at on the card? So, and you didn't want to keep having him in the main event scene, and it was just almost like a conundrum. So I think with having the Wyatt Six kind of positioned and presented as they are right now, I think that's perfect. You're not overhyping them too much, but you're letting them kind of fit in where they should. So I dig it. Sai, you said the women's match is so far ahead of the men's in terms of depth, depth. I'm shocked, but also excited. Dude, me too. Me too. It is night and day. Really. What up, Universal? What up, man? Okay, Universal coming in with the facts. You said there have been 15 Money in the Bank's longest Money in the Bank match from start bell to end bell was 29 minutes. Okay, and 45 seconds in 2017, won by Corbin. Wow, with hype before the longest Money in the Bank match will be going 45 minutes. Will be 45 minutes. Okay, yeah, right on. Oh yeah, let's see if I can make a poll here. I've never done the poll on the live. Let's see. Christ, be careful. I might disconnect myself. They have so much built in too here. It's crazy. Oh, I don't want to edit my layout. Definitely don't want to do that shit right now. All right, so I'll play around with that and get to it because I have wasted your guys' morning enough. But so my official prediction though for the tag team match, getting back to that, I really think that and I hate to say this, but I really think it depends on what The Rock is doing too, and the direction that they want to do, and not as much as going into WrestleMania, right? But I feel like it depends on the direction that they're going to want to do coming out of Money in the Bank and going into SummerSlam. I feel like the match is pretty obvious, with it being Cena and Cody at SummerSlam, the rematch there, especially with it being two nights. obviously you need to free up your champions and things like that. Because there was some, like some speculation, some rumors about it, like a tag match with, I think it was what, like Cena and Travis Scott versus Cody and like another star or someone like that. But I don't know, man. I think I almost, and it's kind of funny because I feel like you can make a case for, you don't want, like you shouldn't bring Cody back then have him lose. You shouldn't have Jay lose, but I don't know, man. You just had Logan Paul lose as well, but then Cena just won at Saturday Night's Main Event, right? So they kind of counteract each other. Obviously, Cody wasn't in a match. Jay obviously was the winner, between him versus Logan Paul. So does it do more harm for your babyface team, being Cody and Jay, taking the loss? Or does it do more harm in Cena and Logan Paul taking the L? And I think you can get away because, I mean, shit, every Cena match that we've had at this point, there's some type of, I don't want to say, trying to be too vulgar, but there's always like a ref bump, right? And there's always some, either a ref bump or some interference and things like that. So that's kind of how I feel this match is going to go, because it gives Cody and Jay an out for losing. They didn't take a clean loss. It keeps Cena going strong with this version of his character. It gives Logan another, or a much needed win, in my opinion. Like, yes, you don't want him winning the title and things like that necessarily right off the bat, but the dude does need to get some prominent wins as well. So I think you just got to be careful with the presentation, but so far so good. My dog is making her bed down there. But yeah, so my official prediction for the tag team match is that Cena and Logan Paul are going to win, because they would just, I don't know, like, okay, so let's say Jay and Cody win. Cena and Logan Paul leave salty, like, okay, like maybe that can set up Cena wanting to get revenge for Cody getting the upper hand on him, and I don't know, but like, to me, just Cena, like, yeah, like he could be upset that he lost, but like he's not going to want to defend his title. His whole thing is he wants to retire as the champion and be the last real champion. So in my opinion, he would do almost anything he could not to defend against Cody again. So to me, it just gives Cody more ammo to fight to have a rematch, and to make a claim to have a rematch against Cena at SummerSlam. So that's another reason why I'm going with Cena and Logan Paul getting the victory here. And shit, it's not that big of a loss, right? If for Cody and Jay to take an L in a tag team match when nothing's on the line. So I think they'll be fine there. And excuse me, with that, oh, they made my coffee perfect today. Shout out to them. But I think this also can set up, if you need, a rematch between, which you don't want SummerSlam to be all rematches, right? But you can do a rematch between Logan Paul and Jey Uso if Logan gets the victory over Jay, for instance, in the tag team match. Because I really just wouldn't want to see Logan pinning Cody. I know Cody isn't the champion, unless you want to set up. It just depends on what you want to set up coming out of it, right? And what you want to do with Logan Paul going into SummerSlam. So I think you can make a case for Logan challenging Jay to a rematch at SummerSlam. It's still early though, because it's what, August, I believe SummerSlam is. So you still have to be careful in that regard, because what, for instance, AEW is running into issues with, and to be fair, WWE has as well in the past, not to throw shade or, whatever, but the time frame. So you have a show that air, like for instance your all-ins, your WrestleMania, that's 2 months out, but then you have 2 months of TV time to fill, when you pretty much already have the match set up and you already know essentially why they're facing each other, and now you're just trying to kick the can, as they say, right? So they just have to be careful with that, and I think they have a better idea of how to handle that now. Sorry to touch the mic too much, but It's a little okay. It's just shy of 2 months away. So SummerSlam, again with it being 2 nights, is August 2nd and 3rd. So again in New Jersey. Um, so man, just I don't know, like you need a big match for night one because I'm just gonna assume we're getting Cody and Cena for night two, okay? And night one you need a big heavyweight championship match as well. And it just really depends, you know. And obviously, we're not going to get into that right now, but that does, in my opinion, weigh heavily on the tag team match. As crazy as it sounds, again, right? Because at one hand, it's just a tag team match. There's nothing really technically on stake, but in the other hand, it could have a lot of ramifications coming out of it. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I still stand with my decision on Logan and Cena winning, but I don't even know. I was going to say you can again. I can understand why they would want to go with the good guys winning, but I just don't see why it would be beneficial, to be honest with you. And again, I'd love to be wrong, so we'll see. But that's my official pick there. I'm gonna see what the chat says really quick and then move on because again, we don't have too many matches to get to, which is pretty dope. So we will kind of just chill, man. I have a little bit of time, so and I ate up like 15 minutes of y'all's live saying nothing beneficial. I was actually talking shit about you guys. You just couldn't hear it. Just kidding. And I love that you can abbreviate Money in the Bank MITB and it just pops right up. It's great. Any thoughts on SmackDown last night, guys? Any? It was like I said, it was a fine show. Nothing too pressing, really, in my opinion. I liked the little. It was a great opening segment, though. I will say that. Or I'm not going to say great. I changed the greatness. The great part that I was referring to was Solo Sokoa. I don't know, man. Last night it just hit me different where Solo was enjoying himself, man. He was loose. He had little mannerisms. He was making facial expressions. Like it just really hit me differently last night seeing him interact with Seth. I loved that visual of the two big threes, and granted, Solo has taken a couple steps down, but you got Jacob Fatu right there on your side, man. Like dude is a monster, bro. And I loved the little jab that Seth had, like what was it? Like he is in fear of a Fatu, but not you or some shit, and then looks at Jacob. Bro. And then obviously the threading. I love the threading that they do though. You have to give them props though. Whether it's overall a good show or not, they have gotten much better in when it's something a good feud or if it's a feud that they've invested in, they normally do a very I'm not gonna say very good, but a good job of threading it through the show and continuing it. So and I love shit like that, man. It really gives you reason to stick along with the show, especially if it's 3 hours, right? And it makes you not want to get up and miss anything because the second you get up, you miss something, right? Like that's my luck. So I really enjoy that, even if it's something small. And like I said, for whatever reason, watching Solo in that segment with Seth really got me pumped to see him later on. So I was like, all right, and to see more interactions with him. So yeah, I'm I don't know why, but last night just really got me with Solo. And I think too, because I was thinking, I sat there and I thought about it because I was like, why am I enjoying him so much right now? And I feel like he is showing a different side of himself because he doesn't have the main event pressure, right? And I'm not saying he performed badly in the main event scene or anything like that. To the contrary, I think he did very well. I think that he was just so focused on being serious, being the replacement of the tribal chief, right? And being the new leader of the bloodline and all that stuff that he wanted to make sure he was getting that presence across, right? Whereas now, yes, he's still a leader, but it's a different form, right? It's a different version of this bloodline 2.0. He's still the leader, right? But there's a little bit of stuff going on between them, a little bit of dissension, right? Um but he's not pressured to be going up against Roman Reigns and to be getting the Ula follow back or anything like that. He's creating his own new targets, right? For the bloodline. So character wise and probably like real person wise too, it gives him an opportunity to loosen up. And like I said, for whatever reason last night it stuck out to me. And then we got the scene where they were in some like random backstage like area, and Solo was started talking shit about Jacob. Not necessarily talking shit, but um God, what did he say? He was like, he said something about Jacob. Let me see if I can pull it up. But Jacob heard what he was saying, and it was essentially, if you guys remember, what the setup in the beginning of the not the beginning because there was little signs before that, but one of the big things that Batista saw, if you guys remember, obviously I don't remember the arena, but Triple H and Ric Flair were talking shit about Batista, and Batista was listening back on the other side of the room that they were in, and just kind of just chuckling to himself because Triple H was deceiving him, right, and being two-faced. So that's kind of the route that we're going with Solo. Solo is being two-faced with Jacob. He's being like, "Oh yeah, buddy, you know, I'm here for you, Solo. You know, like you're our champion, blah blah blah." And behind the scenes, talking ish. So let's see if I can pull up that line. But yeah, and again, shout out to everyone for popping in. We have few of you guys watching here on YouTube and then a good amount watching on Twitter. So I appreciate you guys. Dang, I was still trying to figure out that. I'm gonna play around with this. I'll mess around with that later because I was seeing if I could do that poll, but I don't see the poll anywhere. But yeah, so shout out to Solo, guys. Shout out to Solo. And I was briefly going through your comments to see your thoughts on the tag matches too. Or the tag match. Universal, you said my prediction is Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes with Jey pinning Logan. Okay. Mackenzie, you said Logan need to pin Jey because Jey already pinned Logan. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking. What up, Chris P? What up? Ooh, Fernando, you said Cody pins Cena. Okay. And then that's what I was saying too. Maybe Cena gets pissed off and he wants to like avenge his loss. But to me, man, it would just take more than Cody pinning him in a tag match because Cena wants to retire as the champion. You know what I mean? And if he can do less work, then why wouldn't he in this version of himself, right? Okay, Universal, you said interesting, but Jay is losing on Monday to Gunther, so it makes sense he gets the pin tonight. Okay, so you think Jay is going to lose the title to Gunther tomorrow night or on Sunday night? God, Monday night. Get it right one of these days. What up, Jonathan? What up, sir? Oh, the boss. You said the Iconics returned to TNA last night? I had no idea. Get the hell out of here. I haven't been on. So I was on Twitter a little bit last night, but I was reading stuff about this court case that I'm following. If you follow me, you know. The trial of Karen Reed. If you have not heard of that trial, you need to look into it. Especially if you are here in the United States, and especially if you are in the Massachusetts area, because that could be any one of us. She could be any one of us. So yeah, I'm not going to tell you how to feel about it, but I definitely recommend looking into it because it's a scary thing, man. Scary thing. And yeah, just look into it. The Karen Reed trial. Just type in Karen Reed, READ, and that's all you need to do. But no, so boss, no, I did not see that the Iconics returned. I will definitely have to check that out today. That's dope. I fucking love them, man. I was just talking about them not too long ago too. They're so great. So great. Major L for WWE for not copying them. What up, James? What up? What up? And good morning, Carlos. What up, guys? What up? What up? All right. So we will move right along to the Money in the one of the Money in the Bank matches, which is the women's. It's pretty. I don't know why WWE isn't making posters. They're really taking a loss on not having more posters. James, you said, my guy, James. Let's go. You said I've been watching the Karen Reed trial. I think the cops set her up. My guy. I am right there with you, dude. If I start talking about her, bro, in that trial, we will be here all day. Because that woman, I'm trying not to get into it, but it's sad because, like I said, Karen Reed could be any one of us. But then when you just peel back the layers, it's scary, right? But then just Karen as a human being, she goes through so many different things medically. It's just sad. Like the woman has, I'm not gonna, it's out there, but like she has so many different medical issues. So it's just sad. So check it out. Check it out. And again, I'm not gonna tell you guys how to feel. My opinion is my opinion, but to me it's pretty cut and dry. So definitely look into that, guys. So I try to bring that up as much as I can because yes, I am obsessed with it and I don't want to say I'm into stuff like that, but it is about our rights, and our freedom as Americans, right? Because it is a U.S. trial, but as a whole, it's just scary what governments can do to its citizens. So that's kind of where I'm coming out with that. But I will get off of my soapbox with that. But like I said, we are moving on to the Money in the Bank ladder match for the women's side. We have and bro, you want to talk about stacked fucking match, dude? Alexa Bliss versus Roxanne Perez versus Rhea Ripley versus Julia versus Naomi versus my gal Stephanie McCare. And y'all, Stephanie, man, like I'm not gonna gush about her again because I already did. But yo, she is such a good talent, dude, and I had to get her shirt, and just so we can be graced with her presence. Look at her face, dude. She's so pretty, so pretty. And she's like Rhea Ripley, dude. Like she's one of those people, like one of those women that are like naturally pretty, right? Like the makeup amplifies it and kind of gives her like different styles, but like just the fact that they can like have no makeup and like when Rhea Ripley, for instance, when you see her walking in when they show those clips of the wrestlers arriving at the beginning of the show, and when she doesn't have any makeup on, she's just, just in like street clothes and just chilling. Yo, that's like my favorite version of her because she's just so chill, bro, and like naturally pretty. And that to me, like that gets you so much farther. But yeah, so I'm conflicted because I love obviously Rhea, and Stephanie is a newfound love of mine. um but obviously I'm not gonna let my heart dictate that. I'm gonna try not to. The winner of this one to me can go a lot of different directions, and I think that's what kind of makes it fun too. Going into it a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh yeah, they should give it to Naomi. I think it's gonna be, or I think that would be a better option with the direction she's taking her character now, and with her craziness, right? And kind of with that loose cannon-esque type of vibe. I think it'd be really fun for her to kind of be a little shit stir, right? And to be that one to go out there and fuck around with the champions or like tease a cash in but not really do it and just have that laugh. So I can really see her doing that. I can just and that would give her an opportunity to really grow even more into this character, right? And really have more layers to it and not just be solely focused on Jade and Bianca. Still have issues with them, but have other focal points as well. You know what I mean? Um so I'm very torn on my decision for this one. So Naomi's up there, right? But then I was thinking about Roxanne Perez. I think she could be a good sleeper pick. I think with her kind of toying around with the Judgment Day now, and a little bit of dissension between her and Liv and Raquel, just women, right? Like, they can't get along, right? Whatever. But I think that could be a fun little tricket for them to have with the Judgment Day, right? And now Roxanne will have a little bit of power, and she could kind of flex a little bit and be like, "Yeah, I'm new here, I'm young here, but I got who's the next champion?" And I think the women have 100% success rate for cashing in the briefcase, so she can throw that out there too and be like, "Look, it's pretty much a given that I'm going to be the champion. It's just a matter of when." So she can kind of like, I can see that really helping her character have substance to play off of as well. So I could see that happening too. Now, Alexa Bliss, popularity wise, yeah, but I don't see them going that direction just because we don't see her now. She has been on TV more frequently, but she just hasn't been positioned that way. Maybe that's why. Maybe this is to shock you more. Um, but yeah, so I should be a lower pick of mine, but I wouldn't be completely shocked. She wouldn't be one of my higher up ones. Julia, I don't think I'm not going to say I don't think she's there yet because wrestling wise, no brainer, right? I just think integration wise with the audience and really establishing a foundation and a connection with the fans, she's just not there yet. And that is not a bad thing, right? That is expected, and that happens with a lot of talent, right? It's I don't want to say it's rare, but you're lucky if you come in with more fanfare, right? And Julia, yes, she had a name coming into WWE and NXT, but it wasn't like she had been in WWE prior, had been in AEW, and had a prominent role there. Even with Mariah May, you know what I mean? Like, I bet if you went around and asked like your average fan, like if who did they know more of between Julia and Mariah May, they would most likely say Mariah May, and that's just because of the exposure that Julia has had in the US compared to like a Mariah May. But in that same hand, you can say the same thing about Stephanie Becker, right? Stephanie has had, I would say, maybe the same level of exposure over here in like the North America area. And maybe I'm off, right? Like maybe it's just my lack of knowledge and my lack of exposure to them. But to me, it was kind of similar. Like both were kind of like on level playing ground. Like I knew the name. I'd seen like some clips, but I had never even seen like a full-fledged match between the two of them before Stephanie faced off against Mercedes. Oh, what was that, like a year ago now? At what was it, Forbidden Door? And then when the hype started coming out about Julia, I looked into that a little bit. So, or looked into her like previous matches before. So that's kind of when I got my exposure to them. But a lot of fans aren't going to do that, and a lot of like casual fans or just like average fans aren't going to do that. And I'm not saying like I'm above them or anything. I'm just more like nerdy, I guess, than them, right? Like your my I guess example is like your average WWE family, like that average mom or dad who just wants to take the kids out for a good night, loved watching wrestling back in the day, is pretty familiar with it, right? Like kind of like will throw it on in the background, maybe watch a PLE if it's a big one, but isn't too like invested one way or another, just enjoys it, right? Whereas me and you guys, we are like severely invested, right? Like we sit here, fucking use our Saturday mornings to talk about it, right? We watch it together on watch alongs, and shit like that. So we have a different level of investment and knowledge, is kind of my point with that. So to me, it makes it even that much more interesting how Stephanie has just connected, man, with the fans, and I felt it, dude. And again, I it could be my biasy, right? Because when you're there, it hits obviously different. But just hearing Stephanie's reaction at Battleground and watching the match and just seeing how excited the fans were, dude, and like just feeling her presence, it's a no brainer to me that they wanted to move her up so quickly. And again, like I think even on like the Battleground like review show, like I expected like another 6 months to possibly a year, like potentially going into the Rumble. but maybe they were feeling what I felt too, and they were like, "Fuck, like this girl is she's got something. Like we need to move her on up, moving on up." um, but I don't blame them, right? Would I like to see her in NXT a little bit longer? Yeah, like I said, but it's just really impressive, and I'm so happy for her that it's paying off, right? Because she was one of those that Tony Khan threw a good amount of money at, apparently, but she followed her heart and she went with NXT, and now she's already on the main roster. And before long, dude, like she's gonna be killing it. She's gonna be. I hope they don't rush anything though, but she's gonna be a key player. And just seeing her like on SmackDown interact with Rhea Ripley, she held her own, man. Like it's I forget like how tall Rhea is sometimes, like when you see her standing next to other other women. But I just bro, like her presence to it. I hate to say aura now because like that's the one of those keywords. But yo, like she has something about her, dude. Like just it's like less is more, right? Like it's something to be said when like people don't really try to get you to like them, and that makes you like them even more. She just goes out there and she's herself, you know, like with her entrance, she's serious, she's focused, she's locked in, she's not worried about slapping your hand, anything like that. She goes in the ring, she handles her business, but after the match, she's happy and she's interacting with the fans on her way to the back. She's slapping the hands, interacting. I mean, time permitted, right? Because you have to go segment wise, but you really get a full picture of her. And I think they got something special with Stephanie, man, and I that's no secret. But I think sooner probably than later than what we all expected. I think Stephanie is going to be a key player. But again, I so hope that they don't rush it with her, and I hope they just allow it to happen organically. And that's my only concern with bringing her up to the main roster so soon. I think with Julia, it was probably maybe a better option, or not a better option, but a better idea to bring her up when they did. I think she did what she needed to do in NXT, and I think having her kind of integrated on the main roster and have her team up, like have her kind of be a sponge with your EOS guys, Asuka, wherever Asuka is when she comes back, and not to be one type of way, but it is easier when you have someone who speaks your natural language, right? And yes, Julia has made just leaps with like learning English and stuff like that, and it sounds very pompous when I say it, and I don't mean that, you know what I mean, that oh you gotta learn English, but just to help you feel more comfortable, right? And to help you not feel like so much of an outsider or anything like that, because shit, I've the only place I've gone to, and it's not even outside the US, right? Because it's a US territory, but I went to Puerto Rico, right? And obviously English is not the number one language there, and it really opened my eyes, and it really humbled me a bit, to be completely transparent with you guys. It really made me wake up and be like, yo, like I need to be more mindful, and I need to be more knowledgeable of other cultures and other people and other shit that I'm not, and that I'm maybe a little bit more ignorant to, So that's why another reason why I've been trying to learn a little bit more Spanish, and stuff like that. But I don't know. So it just kind of opened my eyes. But that's kind of where I'm coming. Not even kind of. That is where I'm coming from when I say that about Julia. Um, just getting her integrated with more like people, because it helps you loosen up, and it helps you be more comfortable, and it helps you open up as a character and open up more backstage, and just it just helps you, not that she is dumb or anything like that, or she needs leaders or anything like that. I know she's perfectly capable, right? She's a grown ass woman. But just a buddy, like in my full-time job, one of the questions we get asked on our surveys and that our managers ask us in our one-on-ones is, do you have a work best friend? And they don't ask you who it is, and they hope that it's not them, because like I'm very fortunate to where a lot of our supervisors in my org are very, very great. So they ask you, and it's a serious question. Do you have a best friend? And if you don't, if you're newer, then they try to pair you up with a mentor just to help you with your role. So you have someone that you can lean on, or someone that you can vent to, or whatever, someone that you can just pick the brain of, so you don't have to go to your boss and potentially, feel like an idiot. They say there's no dumb question, but people do look at you like you have a dumb question. It's like, you should know this by now. So that's where I mean when I'm coming from that. So long story short on that, but to me it was just important because people can take things out of context, and I just don't want it to come off the way, like a text message. You could say a lot of things in text message in the tone, right? But my official pick with this match, guys, am really torn between Roxanne and Naomi, to be honest with you. As much as I would love for it to be Stephanie, I think it would be too soon. I don't see it being Rhea because she's almost like Charlotte, man. Like, she doesn't need the money in the bank. Julia, I think it's still too soon. Alexa Bliss, I just don't feel like she is that integrated enough in any of the storylines. Maybe that could be an excuse to create one. But Naomi, I just feel like with this character, dude, you didn't give her the win at WrestleMania, which is fine, whatever. But you're really continuing with this kind of loose cannon character, like I said. So you really need to let her build off of something. I'm not saying it's been perfect or anything like that, or she's fantastic in the ring or anything of that nature, right? Or even the best wrestler out of this bunch, but that's okay too. You know what I mean? Like, everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. Um, and I just feel like maybe Naomi needs something. So I think my pick is gonna be Naomi. My brain pick is gonna be Naomi. If it was my heart, it'd be Stephanie. Um, and I'd be so fucking stoked if Stephanie won, but maybe not, because I don't want to see it rushed. And we could, maybe we could take a look on a different show if they rushed it with Tiffany Stratton winning the briefcase and proceeding with the cash in and things like that. Not gonna get into it here because you guys know me. I'll talk about that for 20 minutes. Um, so yeah, like I again, like I said prior, I made the case for Roxanne. It would not surprise me if it was Roxanne. And again, like, I'm 50-50, man. Like, I'm really 50-50. The longer I sit here and talk about it, the more I want to change my mind. So I think I'm going to stick with Naomi. But I would not be surprised, and I can almost visualize seeing little Roxanne sitting on top of the ladder, holding the briefcase. Um, but I just think character-wise, Naomi could use it a little bit more and could have more flexibility with it. So I'm going with Naomi on that one. Let's see what you guys have to say. Let me know if that drink is too loud in the mic. I can mute myself when I take a swig. I don't want you guys to be like, there's this term, I don't know the name of it. I had never heard of it until I was watching this the Karen retrial. This attorney, she does live streams of she does like a watch along of the court trials every day, starting at 8:55 a.m. till like whenever court ends. And yes, I watch it all day while I'm working. But there was something, like, I forget the phrase, but it was like, when you drink or swallow or chew or do something into the mic that obviously people, hopefully people are listening to you. There's something in it, like, skeeves people out, and it makes them cringe or whatever. I had no idea it was a thing. So let me know if any of you guys suffer from it. I was gonna say that's cool. It's not cool. I apologize, but it's cool. Just let me know. I will mute myself. But yeah, I learned that the other day, but I forget the name. It was like some weird word, but I never heard about it. And I was like, oh shit, I know I've done that. So call me out, guys. Feel free to call me out if you need to. What up, Scott? What up, bro? Sai said, I'll tell people how to feel about Karen Reed. Be outraged. Yeah, dude. I just because, like, like, I try not to, like, influence people, but I do when I start talking to people and I explain the case. I just can't help but be very passionate about it. I know I'll be doing another stream of it soon, just to kind of give more thoughts about where we are. And shit, they're saying even potentially they could wrap it up by the end of next week, which is crazy. Um, dude, I'm just so conflicted, Sai. Like and James, like, bro, like and anyone else who's listening who has heard of the Karen Reed trial and knows what's going on. It's it's one of those things where it's like you feel so confident that you're like, fuck, should I, like, I shouldn't be feeling this confident, like, what's gonna happen, you know, when it's like it's too good to be true. And I just feel like the defense's case this past week has been so strong. I think the ARCA witness just fucking killed it. Dr. Wolf fucking killed it. That reconstruction of the accident that they did, beautiful. I've never been so interested and so engaged in watching a reconstruction of an accident in my life. Between that and then the catastrophe that was Dr. Burgess lying on his resume. He has been pursuing a bachelor's degree for 17 years that does not exist. Long story short. And these are your tax-paying dollars if you live in Massachusetts at work for the prosecution. So, yeah. James, you said earlier this week they said her taillight was still in place on her car, not in pieces on the ground, and yeah, F the police. Yeah, dude, and I'm not even like one of those like, you know, fuck the police, you know, because like there's good and bad in every profession, right? So it's just sad, you know, like I could get into that too. Um, but Dr. Barrows or Dr. Detective Barrows or Sergeant Barrows, I think he's a sergeant now, from the Dighton PD, who went with Proctor and Buchanan to pick up her vehicle from her parents' house, and they towed it. He said absolutely not. Was that taillight completely shattered, like completely removed? So bless that man and protect that man at all costs. For sure. So you're funny, bro. You said Stephanie McCare didn't want to move up to the main roster until she slapped hands with Ashley. Bro. And I'm so happy I got it on film, bro, just because, you know, you can say it. It's like, oh, yeah, I slapped her hand, whatever. But I have confirmation, bro, and that moment will live with me forever. It's so cool. And it was such a great, like, I won't say high five, but it was such a great, like, slapping of the hand, bro. It was, like, perfect. It was, like, you know, like, when you go up to the person, it's like, what's up, bro? It was, like, it was perfect. It's so great. That was, like, some of the best money I've ever spent. What up, Derek Hubbard? What up, bro? You were on Wade's show last night, the Wade Keller post show. What up, bro? If you're still here, Derek, I love listening to your takes, dude. You are so knowledgeable and you have such a way with explaining things. I think you're a teacher, right? If I'm not mistaken. If not, you should be, but I'm pretty confident you are. But if I'm not, I'm just making shit up. But I feel like if I'm remembering correctly, obviously I know you're a former wrestler, so props to you for that. But listening to you last night, dude, so knowledgeable and it's so great. So I love when you're able to call in and you get to share your thoughts because very well said. And again, I hope you don't take offense to this. Excuse me, but Randy Orton looks so much like you, bro. So much like you. Your mannerisms compared to his and vice versa. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Like when I was like doing some other shit this morning and I heard you come on, I was like, Randy? So thank you for popping in, dude. And I love hearing what you have to say. Just had to get that out there because I was thinking that when I was listening to you. I was like, this dude, I wish you would call it more to Wade. So I know you got shit to do, right? But try to call in more if you can, bro. We like hearing from you. But you say you vote Roxanne. Money in the Bank fits a pesky underdog heel, and the interplay with Liv will be fun on TV. Right there with you, my man. Right there with you. Daniel Fleming, what up, sir? You said I think Roxanne Perez will win. Rhea, my second choice, that'll win. Okay, so a few picks here for Roxanne. Mackenzie said, and forever a Julia fan. Yeah. Oh, shit, I'm a Julia fan too, dude. It's just a matter of time, you know? Derek Hubbard, you said nothing I've seen from Julia has been overly impressive. Her gimmick and credibility is she is a hyped Japanese wrestler. That is a start, not a star. Bars right there, bro. Bars. Yeah, no, that's again, dude. I think it's gonna take time with her. It's gonna take a little bit more time. Let me know if, unless you haven't, I just haven't gotten there yet. But let me know your thoughts on Stephanie, though, Derek. Let me know, with her presentation so far, her reactions and stuff like that. Oh, and I think you did. I think you did. No, actually, you did last night, Derek, because you mentioned with her setup with that. I don't know what to call it, but when she, the spot everyone loves, and she takes her legs and like wraps her knees and legs around like the opponent's face and like slams their head into the mat. You mentioned that she does the setup for that. Like when she first started in NXT, she was just doing it and going right to it, but now she's more patient with it. She stops, she sets it up, she looks back at the camera, and then she hits it, and she waits for the fans to kind of like build it up, and then she hits it. And that was such a good call out, bro. Such a good call out, because you're absolutely right. And I hadn't even thought about that, but then like thinking back, 100% right. So little things like that, and that's why I was saying maybe I was wrong, and that is another pro with her. I don't want to say being moved up to the main roster, because she had already done that in NXT, but maybe they feel her presence right now and they kind of want to fast track that, and that's why I'm still concerned as well. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be a wait and see with her, and not popularity wise, but just in booking wise in that regard. Okay, Mackenzie, good point, bro. You said Julia is a star, got orders. She needs to feel more comfortable in wrestling the WWE style. Yeah, dude, it's a big transition. It's a big transition. So I think she'll be fine though, and she'll get there. James, okay. So as long as you don't chew with your mouth open, it doesn't bother me. Nah, bro. I will try not to. Are you really, Derek? You said the only difference, Randy is 6'3" and I am a strong a strong 5'6". You are strong, bro. You're fucking built, bro. You're like that, bro. Fucking built. Um a strong 5'6". That tickles me. For whatever reason, dude, like you look so much taller when like you're on there. I don't know why. But like you look so much taller. Like I would have said at least like 5'10", 5'11", 5'12". I guess to be 6 foot. But that's funny. I appreciate you, dude. And Derek, you also said, I am very impressed with Stephanie. It is not an accident that fans react more to her than others. Yeah, dude. Okay, cool. So right there with you, man. And Zach, another vote for Roxanne and Money in the Bank. All right, cool. I thought I was going to be on the lower end, or on the kind of over here in a boat by myself with Roxanne, but cool. And Universal coming in with your prediction. My prediction for women's Money in the Bank is Alexa Bliss. All right, bro. And that's what I was saying too. Like they could really use that as a stepping stool to, and it's weird because you don't need anything like that for Alexa, right? But as a quick 1-2, here's your storyline, go. You know what I mean? Because the briefcase in and of itself is its own story, right? Like you don't necessarily need to you should, right? I'm not advocating to not be, but I'm saying the crutch with the briefcase is you can be doing nothing and still have a story, right? Because the second we see you, oh, are they going to cash in? Blah, blah, blah. And the speculation begins, right? And they're always on the back of your mind. So, whereas if you don't see them weekly, even though you should, I'm just saying, even if you don't see them, or even if it's like an every other week thing, that next week when you don't see them, when, for instance, that champion is out there or they're in a compromising state, you could be like, oh, is Naomi going to come out? Is El Grande Americano going to come out, which we'll get to, and stuff like that. So that's why I'm like, with Alexa, it could be a great starting point, right? But with her, I'm almost like, you would kind of be wasting the briefcase, in the sense that someone in the position, whereas like a Naomi or a Roxanne, like they could use that as more of a launching pattern, and almost like Naomi, to me, you could use it a little bit more just as a deviation from where she's currently at. So that's why I'm so torn between Naomi and Roxanne. Like the more I sit here and talk about it, the more I want to pick Roxanne, the more I want to pick Naomi, but you know, you can make a case for everyone, and that's why I just love this one, man. I love this one. But we're gonna move on because, like I said, we could sit here and chat about it and go back and forth all day. And I guess I'm sticking with Naomi, man. I really feel like it's gonna be Roxanne. I don't know. Fuck it. I'm sticking with Naomi. I'm probably wrong. Next up we have Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. Of course, this is for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. Valkyria is defending that title against Miss Lynch. If Becky loses, she can no longer challenge for the title as long as Valkyria is champion. If Valkyria loses, she will be forced to raise Lynch's hand and acknowledge her as the better woman. Which I just think is so lame, dude. Like, I get it. I get, like I've said, all the personal things that Lyra has said Becky has put her through, the attack, the verbal attack on Lyra's boyfriend. I get it, dude. I get it. I just feel like that if you're putting me through all that and I have to put my championship on the line against you again and I win, I want more than just you raising my hand, bro. And I get it's like a respect thing. Becky was her idol. I get it. And maybe it's just me being more salty than Lyra is, and she's a better person than me. So props to her. But I just, man, if it was me, bro, I don't know, man. I don't know. I would want more if I was Lyra. I would just want more. But bright side, I do think Lyra showed a little bit more fire. What was it, this past week? And with her, it's just gonna take time too. I think Becky has helped her very much so. So props to Becky for that. This go around, I think Becky is connecting a little bit more for whatever reason as a bad guy, right? I still think it's a little forced. I still think Becky is a given good guy, just more at the edge. But it's fine. You know, I'm not as outraged. I'm not even outraged, but I'm not as upset this time as I was about it the first time. What was that, a couple years ago now? But yeah, I think this one. With this one, it depends too on what you're doing with Bailey. But I think it's almost like a situation of if Lyra wins, what does she do next? And I think if Becky wins, then there's more opportunities. There's another Becky adds more, I don't want to say adds more, but Becky will add a layer of prestige to the championship, right? And credibility to the championship. We all know Becky's history and all that stuff, so don't need to go in her title reigns and stuff like that. But having Becky Lynch hold that championship could elevate it more and give it a little bit more of a shine. You know what I mean? It's still very fresh. So yeah, I think it would be a good thing. And I think it could set up the return of Bailey. That was the only thing I was pondering on, whether Bailey comes in and costs Becky the match itself, or if Becky wins and then that sets up the next feud. So I think that's where I'm going with, though. I think Becky needs to win this, and I think I think it would be fun to see what Lyra does next. A little concerned, you know, and I think it could be kind of like a slap in the face, you know, like you've been doing so well, or not so well, but you've been doing better as a champion, you know, like you've really like established yourself, you've grown a bit on the mic. Let's take that title away from you and put it on Becky. So that's the only part I'm like, do you really want to do that? Unless they're just gonna run it back with Becky and Lyra, but I don't really see that happening. So I'm gonna go Becky here. I'm gonna go Becky wins. I could again see Lyra retaining, but I just think that you need to shake shit up, you know, and have Becky win. Universal, yeah. That's what I was thinking too, because you need a big match at Evolution. So you said I heard that Bailey is returning on Monday and is starting a feud with Becky for Evolution 2. Bailey and Becky IC title match at Evolution too, and that could fucking kill the show, bro, in a good way. That could just steal the show and be low key match of the night. Do you think we see the Nikki Bella return in the upcoming weeks? Last time I heard she was like training, right? She wanted to come back to in the ring. Evolution's coming up soon, so it's just something I was thinking about when I was when they had one of the ads for it being in the Atlanta market. So I was like, I don't know why I randomly thought of Nikki Bella for that, but I was like, wonder if we're gonna. Oh, I do know because I was thinking about who was on the original Evolution and just how shit has changed so much between then and now. And I was just like, I wonder if we'll see if we'll get a Bella sighting. But guys, we are on to the last match of the card. I was going to say the main event, but who knows if it's going to be the main event. But it is the men's Money in the Bank match. This one isn't as stacked as the women's, like we mentioned, but we have Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Penta, Seth Rollins, Andrade, and El Grande Americano. Again, man, it's a fucking Starbucks drink. This one, it's a very like almost random assortment of entrants in the match, and I'm almost like it's so heavy-handed that Seth is gonna win that it's not gonna be Seth, and I could just very easily see Punk coming out and screwing Seth, right? Like everyone's down, Seth's like essentially his security team. um Breaker and Bronson, they're taking care of people on the outside. Seth is making his way up to the briefcase. He's kind of taking his time, mocking and just gloating. And then CM Punk comes out, either pulls him off of the ladder or pushes the ladder over, whatever, and costs him the briefcase. I could very easily see that happening because if you don't go with Seth being in the main event scene in regards to the heavyweight championship match at SummerSlam, then what are you going to do with him? And I could very easily see them wanting to do Seth and CM Punk at SummerSlam. I think that would be a big time match, even though we've seen it in the past and we've seen them interact in the past, obviously, but they're continuing that, right? And they're going forward and with Paul Heyman. So if they need something for CM Punk to do at SummerSlam, then I can very easily seeing it being that. And what other way to just infuriate Rollins than for Punk to come out and just completely derail his quest, right? So I is it's like one of those things, man, where it just seems so obvious that it's not going to happen, or it could be so obvious that it's going to happen and they're telling you it's going to happen, it happens, and this is what we have going forward. And I'm not against that at all because I am starting to like what Seth is doing. I really dug his outfit last night. I thought it was obnoxious, but kind of professional-ish. Um, um, yeah, I just part of me is like Seth is like we said about Rhea and Charlotte, like he doesn't need to win the briefcase, but he is slimy and smarmy enough, especially being a bad guy again, that you could see him being that type of guy again. I feel like he's kind of grown out of cashing in the briefcase and running down and and being that guy. So that's another reason where I'm like, I just don't see him winning this. And again, I could be completely wrong and they're slapping me in the face with it and he wins. But I don't feel it being that way. I I'm as crazy as this sounds, I'm kind of stuck between LA Knight and El Grande Americano. Like I feel they can make not make a case, but I feel like they can go a route where El Grande wins and then he tears the mask off and reveals he's Chad Gable, and this was just like a plot the whole time, right? Like why, like he could have just been Chad Gable and tried to get there, but whatever, like I mean, but technically, like El Grande has the metal plate in his mask, whereas Chad Gable does not, right? So there are some things that El Grande has that Chad Gable does not. So touche. So I just, and again, It's not like the men have a 100% success rate at cashing in the briefcase. I don't see him successfully cashing it in at any point. And I would see it as the heavyweight championship side, right? Like I would never see him cashing in on the universal side. No offense. But I just feel like you can make a case for it, man. Like in ring wise, Gable has that credibility, and enough people like Gable enough to where if he rips off this Americano gimmick once he wins the briefcase and he goes for it and he takes himself seriously and he does X, Y, and Z, you can make a strong. I'm not saying make him a good guy. Keep him as a bad guy and make him pompous and be like, "Screw you! I told you!" Blah blah blah, and go that route and just be kind of like Kurt Angle, man. Like just a badass wrestling machine. Like I'm talking Kurt Angle with a mouthpiece, yo. Like 2006 Kurt Angle, like just a fucking machine. Just go out there. And you remember Kurt Angle with the mouth guard and the sneakers, bro? That the black sneaks, that Kurt Angle dude. Oh, prime Kurt, bro. Prime. So I can really see, as crazy as it sounds, I can really see if they handle it correctly, Gable making a case and Gable making a run for it. If he ends up successfully cashing in, we'll get to that point when we're there. But man, like it's when I first saw him like win the entrant into the match, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? As I thought about it when I was walking my dogs, I was like, I've seen crazy fucking Otis won the briefcase, right? So I've seen crazier shit happen. So I'm not gonna completely discredit that and rule it out. And on the LA Knight side, you are in LA, right there. You have had this hot character for a couple years now. Yes, it's gone down a bit, but it has still sustained quite an amount of fanfare, right? The dude still gets a great reaction when his music hits. People are still chanting along with him. They're still engaged when he's out there. Is he the best in the ring? No. But he's one of those guys that he can go out there and connect with the audience, bring people in, and then have a passable match. Yes, he'll make a couple mistakes in the ring, but as long as it's, like he's not out there killing anybody or severely injuring anyone, I kind of like when things don't look as polished, right? Like I like when not he in particular, but I like when someone's foot slips off the rope really quick and they have to climb back up. Like if they run and try to jump in from the mat to the top ropes, right? Like in one of their foot slips and they have to go back up. I shit like that. I like shit like that, not because like they're looking like an ass or anything like that, or like potentially getting embarrassed. I don't think it should be embarrassing, and I don't view it as a bad thing. I view it as it being human and as it being what happens in real life situations, like in the UFC, people like I've seen them when they go to kick someone and they put so much force into the kick, like they swing and they fall over, right? Or the same thing with a punch. They go to just put all their momentum and strength into this punch and the dude jabs and misses it and he fucking like his momentum carries him over. So I don't know, man. Like I don't know. And like you just like in basketball, right, where it's a breakout layout, there's no one following you, like you're what feet, away from someone else, and like you have no defenders, right? And you're going up there and making this like just most arrogant layup you can, and you miss, and they pick up the ball, and they, run and score up 2 points, 3 points because you had to go out there and be extra, and you could have just scored like a nice quick little layup, but you had to go out there and try to like slam the ball in the basket. So not saying that's what LA Knight is doing, but situations like that, you know what I mean? So shit happens. As long as he's not out there hurting people hurting people weekly and stuff like that, and being stiff and stuff like that, like stuff above my pay grade, as they say. Then I kind of dig it. Like to me, he feels a little bit more relatable in that regard. Because I know if I went out there and I tried to do that shit out of 10 times, yeah, after practice, yeah, I may get it. Like I'd probably hit it maybe 6, 7 times, maybe 7, 8 times, depending on my practice with it and things like that. So I don't know. Like I don't get on him as hard as other people with that. But that's really the only other guy that I can make a case for. Andrade, Penta, sadly, I don't see right now. Penta's just a little too early. Andrade, I just don't feel like he's in that position right now. in Solo, man, I feel like we're kind of past that at this point. And like I was saying earlier about Solo, I kind of like what he's doing right now, focusing on Jacob Fatu and kind of in that realm. I see him challenging for the U.S. Championship potentially sooner rather than later, it looks like. So my pick, guys, is fucking El Grande Americano. Call me crazy, but that's who I'm going with, man. That's who I'm going with. And again, that's why I kind of feel like maybe this match isn't going to be in the main event slot. Maybe it's going to be that tag team match. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it, guys. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you guys are thinking, and we will be wrapping up here. But I'm going to check out your comments and wrap it up. But I appreciate you guys for sticking around with me. Y'all are funny. Yeah, universally said, just keep this in mind for tonight's show. From California, Solo is from California, Jay is from California, and Alexis lives in California. Yeah, man, that's why I feel like, I mean, no one really pays attention to Solo being from California, though, and Jay, yes, but I feel like that would be even more reason for him to lose. And kind of same thing with Alexa, man. Yeah, Sai said I could see El Grande Americano winning, and it's not Gable. That's true. Yeah, Universal. Yeah, I said I will be doing a watch along tonight. I have done a couple of them now, so like I mentioned, I will be getting on a little bit earlier, probably to just make sure the audio is set up and everything is good to go. And yeah, so yeah, on my channel, KickAsh Podcast here on YouTube. So definitely go over and subscribe there if you would like to do, or if you'd like to join the watch along. No pressure, just if you'd like. If not, we will obviously be doing a review show sometime within the next day or so to go over what happened and the fallout and things like that. But if you are not subscribed here, I don't know why you aren't. You definitely need to subscribe here to Brass Ring Media. If you're watching over there on Twitter, I appreciate that. We got a strong audience over there, it looks like. So I appreciate you guys for checking us out over there. Definitely make your way over to YouTube and subscribe if you have not, and follow us on Twitter if you are over there watching as well. Appreciate that. Because you could be doing a lot of other things and watching a lot of other things, and you're here with us, so I appreciate that. But yes, excuse me, Universal. Yes, thank you for that. I will be doing the watch along on my channel, the KickAsh Podcast channel. So definitely head over there tonight if you would like. And Universally said LA Knight is not from California. Yeah, but I mean his name, LA and LA. That's where I was getting at with that. Appreciate that, Fernando. You said I have the best watch alongs. I don't know about the best, dude, but I have the best people in the watch alongs, and that's you guys. So that's why I think it could be the best, because you guys are the best. So with that being said, my friends, I will be jumping off here because it's noon our time here in Orlando. Fernando, looks like we have a pretty nice day, which I'm super happy about. We've had crazy just like weather the past couple days, depending on where you're at. I was driving my work vehicle the other day, and it had like a chip in the windshield. Random rock hit it. Was gonna get it fixed today because it wasn't anything major. Couldn't even feel it. Obviously you could see it, just couldn't feel anything. Driving for work, and heavy rains just come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden I feel drops on my left shoe. And I'm like, what the hell is that? So I reach down and it's water. So I'm like, oh, this isn't good. So I pull over in a Publix parking lot, dude, and it's just a heavy stream of water just trickling down from the corner underneath the dashboard where your left foot sits. And I look up in there, and there's just all this wiring just covered with water. And there's this little black box just sitting, not sitting in water, but just sitting with water on the top of its cover. I'm like, this is great because it's a hybrid vehicle. Like, this is great. So yeah. With that being said, Fernando, I am just so happy we have a nice day out because I'm going to take advantage of that and do some shit before the stream tonight. So I appreciate you guys for popping in and staying with me through the audio issues. No idea what happened, but that's why I said I'm going to pop in a little bit earlier this evening to make sure we're good to go. I can hear you. You can, well, I can't hear you, but I see you, see me type shit. But yeah, guys, thank you again. I appreciate you guys. Um, Fernando, last thing you said, did you hear Punk off camera getting on the fans? Yeah, he was just joking though. He was just joking. Um, yeah, it wasn't anything serious. So he kind of laughed it off. But yeah, I thought it was really clever Cena incorporating it as well. Like you can't handle the truth or whatever. So it does make you wonder if we're gonna get a truth sighting anytime within the next year before Cena ends up leaving. But we'll see, man. I talked about truth and all that, so I'm not gonna get into it right now. But bro, crazy times, right? But again, guys, thank you so much for joining. I truly appreciate you all. You're all the best out there. People watching on Twitter, I appreciate you guys as well. Until this evening, if you're joining me for the watch along, thank you for today. Thank you for joining tonight. And if not, I will see you guys here on Brass Ring Media next weekend. If not here, if you want to see me prior, check out KickAsh Podcast. Feel free to like, subscribe over there, all that good stuff. Definitely do your thing over here. And until next time, guys, stay safe. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy this weekend of wrestling, guys. Take care.